Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, and a spider can't do drugs. Oh shit. Can they? Can a spider do drugs? Yo, 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 what it is? CB, your comics burnout here, and this time we're going to be taking a look at one of the stories from Spider-Man Fights Substance Abuse. That's right. In the story, we're going to see Spider-Man team up with Frank Castle, the Punisher, and you know, Frank's normally not my kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? Like a little bit too negative for me, but I bet my boy Peter Parker's going to keep him in check. So anyway, let's go ahead and thwip on into this exciting adventure, which is aptly, if not creatively, titled Spider-Man and Punisher One-Shot. We open up on a high school football game where number 45 Craig Williams is just tearing up the field, maybe a little bit too enthusiastically, as one of the refs throws an unnecessary roughness penalty on him and the coach pulls him from the field. Later after the game, as Craig and his dad are walking out to their car, Craig's dad smacks him up against the head and says he's a loser, and losers walk home. Not cool, man. Elsewhere in Little Odessa, in a hail of gunfire, Mikhail, a terrified mobster, flees from the Punisher down an alley, the Punisher's bullets just inches away from him, hitting the ground. And as he turns a corner, he runs smack dab into a giant Spider-Man-sized web. Spider-Man interrogates Mikhail, but the Punisher puts a knife to his throat and tells Spidey, "These Russian mobsters never talk." However, the mobster immediately begins spilling everything, even agreeing to help set up his boss and father for a drug deal the next day. They agree and let the mobster flee, at which point Spider-Man reminds the Punisher that they discovered this drug ring together. These bastards are selling drugs to kids, but they agreed to work together on it, and that means play nice. Same sandbox, rubber bullets only. The Punisher, without responding, walks away, and Spidey calls after him, right, Frank? Frank? Hey, Frank! The next day at school, we see Craig and the cool kids making their way down the hall to the restroom, where we learn that Craig is in fact a drug dealer who sells kids bags of, dog hair? Or baggie of Triscuit crackers? Oh shit, that's supposed to be weed, man. That is some dirty, dog shit ass weed. Oh my god. I mean, it's not cool, man. Selling drugs to kids, that shit ain't cool. Anyway, about that time, a nerdy kid named Noah enters in the midst of the deal. The interruption enrages Craig so much that he grabs the kid, viciously giving him a swirly and beating him until his own friends have to pull him off of Noah in fear that he's gonna kill the kid. Later that evening, back in Little Odessa, Craig meets up with Mikhail and his boss and father, Sergey, to discuss upping his slinging game. When suddenly, the Punisher blows a hole in the wall with a frickin' rocket launcher, man! He and Spidey jump into the thick of it. Spider-Man's kicking ass and making quips, but then the Punisher opens fire with live rounds. Spider-Man screams, "No, Castle, we said rubber bullets only, no killing!" To which the Punisher mumbles, "You said not me." That's when Frank notices Craig and trains his pistol on him, but Spider-Man jumps in between them screaming, "I said no, he's just a kid!" Craig pleads, saying that he's just there to buy a little bit of weed, so the heroes let him go, with the Punisher screaming at him as he runs, "If I ever see you in Little Odessa again, punk." Craig races home in his car, replaying the events in his head, but taking away the wrong message. He sees how Spidey kicks butt, kicks everybody's ass, and is funny and doesn't take shit from anyone, just like him. So the next day at school, Craig is being his usual douchebag self when all of a sudden Noah presses the barrel of a gun to the back of his head, demanding that he get on his knees. He's tired of Craig's shit. Craig begs for his life and pisses himself, and as he does this, teacher Peter Parker approaches and manages to talk Noah down, disarming the situation. But Craig is weeping, terrified, and not to mention his friends got it all on video and everybody's gonna see. After that, Craig's friends abandon him as a loser. He's kicked off the football team because the events have shed light on his vicious bullying. Once home, his dad tries to rough him up for getting kicked off the team, but this causes a huge fist fight between them where he imagines himself as Spider-Man and his dad as the Punisher, but even though he's able to get it over on his old man, his dad still throws him out of the house. Much later, the down-on-his-luck Craig wanders through Little Odessa, meeting up with Mikhail once more. Mikhail tells him how the Punisher and Spider-Man took down his dad on his order, and that now puts him in power, and he is in need of some good muscle, just like Craig. A little time passes and we see that their little drug empire isn't doing so well, as Punisher keeps hitting all their deals, forcing them to resort to stealing cargo. When Craig questions the plan and makes a little joke, Mikhail flips out, pulling a knife on him and reminding him who's in charge. Looks like Craig tried to find himself a new father figure but ended up with just more of the same. Not cool, man. That night, as they load up the last of the shipment, Mikhail's about to execute one of the guards when Spider-Man's web grabs the gun and pulls it out of his hand. Spider-Man jumps in, easily taking down the crooks. Mikhail yells out for Craig, who has a clean shot to shoot Spider-Man, but he just can't do it, and Spider-Man webs him up with all the others, yelling to him, "Don't worry, kid, I haven't forgotten about you." Craig begs Spider-Man to let him go. "You're my hero," he says, but Spider-Man tells him point blank, "Spare me, kid. A thug like you is the reason why I became what I am. We're nothing alike." An arrest, a trial, and a conviction later at Rikers Island, Craig is led down the corridor to his cell as inmates berate him from theirs. Sitting in his cell, head hung, he mumbles to himself, "Thug. He called me a thug. It's not right. It's not fair. I spent my whole life listening to everybody else. No more. Gotta do what I think is right, and never look back." He squeezes his eyes tight as tears force their way through and roll down his cheeks, and then we are left with a quote from Bob Dylan. "I think of a hero as someone who understands the degrees of responsibility that come along with his freedom." Right on, guys, the artwork in this issue was pretty boss, and the writing was interesting while at the same time trying to do a lot for a one-shot. And in truth, in this book, while drugs are the catalyst, like the spark that lights the whole thing up, this book really focuses in more on the social, psychological, and emotional issues that can play into the continuing cycle of a life of crime. And in doing so, it allows this book to touch on issues of domestic violence, bullying, and several other important social problems. Craig's story does an awesome job of emphasizing how justification, ego, and denial play into his downward spiral of criminal activity. Spider-Man perfectly represents the potential for hope and change in Craig's life, but due to his ego's ability to justify and deny, he continuously misses the point. And Punisher, on the other hand, is a good representation of the negative ends of the life of crime, but once again, Craig's egocentric security system manages to insulate him from all the realities of his encounters with Frank. In the end, this book is about the choices people make, the consequences, how they deal with them, and what we all learn from it. You know, or some other deep, profound shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, this book was a bummer, man. A good message, but a total downer. But you know what, guys? Make sure not to miss out on the next episode, where we're going to do something a little bit more fun as we take a look at Ziggy Marley's Marijuana Man. But until then, guys, remember to enjoy the little things. Remember to breathe. Remember to smile. Remember to laugh. It's a crazy world out there, guys, but we can all make it just that little bit better. Be the change you want to see out in the world, comic book guys and girls. I hope you all have a groovy good one. CB. Signing out. Thank you for joining us for that video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also make sure to hit that little bell so you can get dope updates on all the cool shit we're gonna have coming out here in the future. Oh, snap. According to my super awesome Spider-Man pocket watch, I got about 5 minutes till a showdown with the Green Goblin. So I'm gonna have to get out of here. See you next time.